It's recording, by the way.
Somehow, I think you know I'm recording, kitty cat. That says it all. Hey friends, so I'm back with another video this week about law school, but this time I made a collaboration with another YouTube channel that discusses the law school admissions process. The name of the other channel is Law and Life, and I'll leave a description for her channel down below. Some of the things that we discuss are what inspired us to go to law school and how COVID has impacted our overall process. Before I get started, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos of this type. So why don't we get started? Thanks for agreeing to do a collab today. I feel like there are not many, or maybe there are and I'm just not saying them, or not, there are not many Black women, especially that are doing YouTube and talking about their experience in applying to law school and going to law school. So get someone together on that. And then, so I guess we should start with our personal backgrounds.
So I'm Lataysia. I have the Law and Life YouTube channel. I'm from Alabama originally. I live in Atlanta right now. For my job, I do like procurement. I'm a consultant for like a Fortune 500 company. I don't like to say the company online.
No, you're good. You're good. I totally understand. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I went to Howard University for undergrad, and I've been in the DC area ever since. Love it in DC. I don't know if I couldn't trade it for anything, but then I don't know any better, so there's that too. What helped you kind of narrow down where you were going to go to law school without you disclosing any information that you don't feel comfortable disclosing?
So for me, it was really just based off of scholarship money, obviously, based off of somewhere that I would like living like for 3 years or maybe potentially long term after that. Mm-hmm. Also what type of law I want to practice, and then just like talking to different people, like the professors, the students, talking to admissions, just like the vibe that I was getting from each school. That was kind of the big thing for me because we weren't able to visit a lot of schools if you're applying right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think there's a lot of advice out in folks who have gone to law school, like, oh, you should go to the best school you go to, no matter how much it costs. And I think the current student loan debt crisis is the biggest proof that I need that is the dumbest approach that someone could take to law school, especially if they are not rich. Mind you, a lot of people that go to law school are rich, so there's, might not have those same experiences. The location and my proximity to a community that I felt like I would be comfortable in, I feel like it's a thing that a lot of people don't talk about, is are there Black people there that will make you feel comfortable in your surroundings? Like, are you going to be the, only Black person in every class? Are you comfortable with that? Some people are more comfortable with that than others. Was that a part of your deciding factor in anything? Were there decent numbers of underrepresented minority students or just people of color on the campus?
So honestly, it wasn't at the beginning. Being like one of the maybe 2 or 3 people in a class anyways, to me, it was never a big deal. Even like in my work environment, it's just always, for me, I don't think I thought about it much. I will say though, that as I started going through the process and then people started saying, well, you may want to think about this, you may want to think about that. Then it started, weighing heavily on me. But honestly, I don't know if it played that much in my decision.
I think because I have to do that at work every day, I'm exhausted and having to make a space for myself to an extent. And I mean, mind you, Georgetown has 7% of their, law student body as Black people. So I'm not really, going to a place that's going to have an abundance of Black students, but I think the city itself and having that example, having that network, at least for me, goes a long way. So how did COVID kind of impact your overall admission cycle?
I didn't get to go visit. I only got to visit one school. Well, okay, so I got to visit UNC and Emory before everything. But besides that, I wasn't able to visit any schools. So I think that kind of had a big impact because there were plenty of schools I wanted to see that I wasn't able to go see. So I think that, and then I think also just this whole process has just became even more stressful for me because I don't know, it just feels weird going right now. Even the possibility of online classes, I'm not happy about it. It doesn't sit well with me at all.
And I had a similar experience where COVID really dictated whether, for example, I even stayed on wait lists for some of the schools that I applied to because I was like, well, even if they let me in, do I want to pick up all my things, try to find an apartment during a pandemic? Do I want to try to, reinvent my entire social life? Do I want to reinvent myself in a brand new city? And is that something that's going to be conducive to my mental health? And is that going to be conducive to my ability to study and to, maintain self-care? And for me, that was like a big no. And I know that everyone has a very radically different experience around that. But for me, I was just like, why, law school is going to be exhausting and it's going to be hard. And nothing about making it harder for myself seemed to like, or at least from my perspective, seemed like an attractive option. What is some great advice that a mentor gave you that kind of stuck with you throughout your admissions process?
I think it's kind of weird that her advice was really like to not care about what other people think, because she was giving me her opinion.
Well, that's fair, but I think that's a good point to make, though.
Yeah, it was pretty much just like, you decide the best school for you. Like, don't base it off of the T14. Don't base it off of even your family. Base it off of what feels good to you. So I think that was the best advice.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like I think there's a lot of elitism in the T14 design. Like, even if you think about it, the oldest schools tend to be at the top of that. And I don't know, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of leeway. And for example, like you were mentioning with entertainment law, in the grand scheme of law schools being a thing, entertainment law is new, right? Even though it's been a thing for decades. But I think, for example, the T14 and its kind of history of elitism doesn't account for newer industries. And I think there's something to be said for that too. I think the best mentor advice that I received was to actually pay attention to how much money schools were giving you. Other than obviously online classes, do you have any worries or fears about the upcoming semester?
My biggest fear is like not getting the grades I need the first semester, because I'm one of those people that is like banking on doing like super good my first semester and getting a job and just like sticking with that job until I graduate. That's really my plan. Yep. So that's scary to me, like just not getting the grades.
That's fair. I'm sure you will get the grades. Folks that go to law school like tend to be perfectionists, and they tend to be very high achieving individuals. And I'm sure that neither of us are no exception to that. So that makes a lot of sense. I think we're both applicants, or we're both law students who are entering a little bit like later, as if you could call it that. I don't consider myself to be old in any way. I don't consider you to be old in any way, but in the grand scheme of like the average age of law students, we are in our later 20s, which puts us on the older side. But what's kind of one of the reasons that why you applied as a student with work experience, or as a potential law student with a little bit more under your belt?
Honestly, I tried to make everything too perfect. And when I just started like letting things like just flow, it was like, okay, now it's time to go to law school. Because before I was like driving myself crazy. Like, I have to do this, I have to do that before I go. And then when I was just like, just study for the LSAT and just apply, everything worked out. So I think I was just like, I wanted everything to be perfect before I went, and it's still not perfect. Now we have COVID.
I did something similar, and I really stressed myself out those years between me graduating from undergrad and applying to school. And I really I feel like I punished myself, and I was like, oh no, I need to do this. And that kind of put too much pressure on me, made me not want to do it, and just kind of keep putting off taking tests and, putting off the entire process year after year. And honestly, this year, I just told myself, look, if I don't apply this year, it's probably not going to happen. And I felt like I had more of a plan with what I wanted to do job-wise. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And here I am. Other than the potential career field that you want to go into, are there any other like big reasons why you wanted to go to law school?
I don't know. Like, I've literally wanted to be a lawyer since I was like 6. So I think
That's
for me,
awesome.
myself being anything else, and I've like worked in a lot of other jobs. Like, I've worked in real estate, I've worked in procurement, I've worked at a law firm, I've worked in sales. I've done like everything, and I'm just like, yep, law school's for me. Nothing else is enjoyable to me. So,
and I think especially like as a woman of color, if you have a law degree, you have a very known and kind of standard set of skills and knowledge that people understand, and that definitely gives you an edge in any work environment and space. My last question is on being a Black woman in law school. What are you looking forward to? What does it mean to you?
So I'm looking forward to like, this is so backwards, but like, you know how your first year you have some of those difficult conversations, you discuss those difficult cases. I'm actually looking forward to like speaking up, doing those conversations. Like, I'm looking forward to like, I don't know, like making my voice heard. Mm-hmm. And I'm also looking forward like joining organizations and like, you know, trying to give back to other people and help other people that are trying to go through this process as well. That are also Black, also women. So just like looking forward to being able to like give back to other people that I know are probably, you know, going through the same thing through. Like, we're going through this too, because I only had like 3 people I was watching on YouTube that were Black women, and kind of transparent, kind of not.
Yeah, that's fair. I think one of the toughest things to be really transparent about is test scores, because I think there's such a stigma around test scores and being a Black applicant to law school, and the misconception that you don't need to meet certain requirements because you are a Black student. People kind of giving affirmative action more credit than they give you as a hardworking person who got to the heights that you achieved. That is huge to me. Also one of the reasons why I kind of got involved in this space, because I don't think there's a lot of transparency around that. Yeah, I think at least being a Black woman in law school, I think the past obviously couple of weeks / month or so has been all that I need to kind of be a push in inspiring me to continue on the path that I'm going down. That aside, we've got a long way to go. And when you put yourself on this side of the law as a Black person, you're making a very conscious choice, and it's not one that you should take lightly.
No, I have one question for you though. So you're going to Georgetown, right? Did you apply to other schools in DC? Like, what made you choose Georgetown?
So I applied to Yale, Harvard, Columbia, and NYU and Georgetown. I got waitlisted for every school except for Georgetown. And Georgetown hit me with a like 6-figure scholarship. So I was like, all right, I need really nothing else to convince me to go. Part of the reason I'm going to Georgetown is, again, the convenience and the money. I'm gonna still keep my job while I'm going to school. The campus is like a 15-minute walk from my job. So I'm gonna be going for their evening program, and that leads to less debt. Again, money's a really big thing for me. You know, an overall just experience where I don't have to rock my world as much. I don't have to move, things like that. So, I mean, to an extent, like, yes, I think it is a little bit lazy of me to have that be kind of the bulk of my decision. But I mean, that's where I am. So
is their evening program that much different than the regular program?
No, so you can actually switch between the two. If you get into the evening program, I could decide today, like, hey, I want to switch to the daytime program, the exact same thing. So no, the only difference is you take classes after work rather than during the day, and then you spread out your credits over up to 4 years, but you can graduate in 3 years if you want to. Okay. Yeah, but thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate you doing this.
Oh, thank you. It was really good.
The video that I've posted of me and Lataysia's conversation is just the highlights. If you'd like to see a full or longer version of our conversation, head on over to Lataysia's YouTube channel, Law and Life. I've left a link for her channel down in the description box. Now, in the comments, let me know if you liked this video and if you'd like to see more collabs going forward. I'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. Thanks.